update from the UPSA. That's the name. Greater Accra Regional Security Coordinating Council, led by Regional Minister Henry Kweti, embarks on the conjunction exercise in the Yawa Central Municipality. We shall bring you a live situational report. In business, Ghana's debt stock hit 332 billion Ghana cedi, debt to GDP now 76.6%, which has speak to an expert in the application of the latest update on the economy. And on an international front, kidnappers who raided a boarding school in northern Nigeria earlier this month released 28 children, as 81 more remain in captivity. Thanks for joining us. Let's start with COVID-19 here in Ghana. And last night, the President, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, gave a statement, 26th address on COVID-19 situation here in the country. So behind me are quick slides and pointers from what exactly the situation here in Ghana really means when it comes to COVID-19 and what we are facing here. So yes, it says current statistics as at Friday, 23rd July 2021, active cases at 4,521. Daily infection rate at 350 cases. We come all the way to deaths. The sad one here is at 823. And the cause here is, it is obvious from the data that we have let our guard down, with many going about their daily duties in clear breach of an disregard for the protocols. Protocols here mean the COVID-19 protocols that we are supposed to adhere to curtail the spread. So the measures here are the COVID-19 task force, which I chair. The President has recommended that a second look be taken at the protocols that have been put in place for social and public gatherings, in particular weddings and funerals across the country. And it says the wearing of nose masks continues to be mandatory, and persons must respect, the key word here is respect, the adherence, the enhanced hygiene protocols. We are going to be giving more on this, but I want to get on the line and speak to KWABENA MINTAH AKANDOH, who is a ranking member of Parliament Health Committee, to analyze the new measures to address the COVID-19 situation here in Ghana. Hello and welcome to NEWSBEAT, sir.
Hello.
Great. Now, what is your assessment of the President's latest resolve to address the pandemic, tightening restrictions and making effort to secure vaccines?
Yeah, let me say good afternoon to your viewers and state that the truth of the matter is that I find the President's speech as very hollow, and there is absolutely very little when it comes to policy directions to fight against COVID-19. Because I and the majority of Ghanaians were expecting that he was going to enumerate directives that will help fight this outbreak of this third wave. Fortunately, there was nothing new. There was absolutely nothing new. For example, the President spoke about the fact that Ghanaians are breaching their COVID protocols. I was exceedingly surprised that he gathered the courage to say so, because if anybody is breaching the COVID protocols, he's the #1 person who has been breaching the COVID protocols. And you remember the infamous Sir John's funeral. So I thought that he could take that opportunity to even apologize to the good people of this country, and we'll take it from there. But to blame the people of this country that they are rather, breaching the COVID protocols is rather unfortunate. Two, we were expecting that the President will announce some amount of money that he's using to fight this third wave, i.e. testing, sequencing, and the procurement of vaccines. You know, so we were expecting to hear that, look, we are procuring vaccines because experts say that the best way to minimize the effect of the virus is to be vaccinated. And as I speak to you now, the President himself indicated that around 1 million people have been vaccinated. What about the more than 20 million people who have not been vaccinated? What's the policy? Is it talk without action? As I speak to you now, the ranking member on the health committee, if you ask me the measures we have put in place to procure vaccines, I don't know. It looks like we are talking plenty without, I mean, putting pragmatic measures in place to fight the COVID virus. And so I find it very, very hollow. And I think that the president must come back again, tell us, I mean, the amount of money, the measures, the effort they've made in securing vaccines for this country, when the next rollout will be done, when the vaccines will arrive in this country, when the next rollout will be done. Are they going to do mass testing where you will be in your house and you see a van to, I mean, what do you call it, to test the people? Because I know a lot of people who had this virus, and it took they themselves to take their families to the various centers to be tested, and they had to pay it for themselves. You know, so it looks as if government is not putting much in place to fight this COVID-19.
Mr. AKANDOH, you mentioned earlier that you were expecting to hear him give certain directives. What are these directives that you were waiting to hear him say last night?
Well, the clear political decisions that I was expecting him to take was, one, henceforth, we are going to roll out mass testing. So everybody will be tested in this country, or even a given number of regions we will start with, so there will be mass testing. That's one. Two, the next rollout of the inoculation or the vaccination will be done next week, this day. We have taken delivery of this number of doses of vaccines, so we are going to start the vaccination. These are things, when you talk about, everybody and anybody listening to you will think that, yes, the president is speaking. But no respect the protocols. Oh, wear your mask. Oh, haven't you heard these things before?
But are they not the protocols that we are supposed to follow? The right of masks, washing our hands, and social distancing.
Not to follow those protocols. It's the president who has taught. I agree with you. I'll be the last person to say that people should not respect the protocols. I'll be the last person to say so. But unfortunately, the signals, the actions and inactions of the president say so. That's the unfortunate aspect of it. So I doubt where he had his moral courage to say this. I thought that, for me, what I was expecting to hear is that, oh, I'm sorry, this happened. Ghanaians should forgive me. It will not happen again. You take it from there. But you don't come and say, oh, you are not respecting the COVID protocols, and that is why you leave this big funeral and come and say, what else can help spread the virus? So for me, I think that we must be genuine in our fight against this pandemic. We must be honest, and that is something that is missing in the communication of the issues of COVID-19. You realize that there's a new variant. Before they announced, they say, oh, the new variant has been detected right at the entry, so we don't have it in the country. The next week they come, oh, we have detected some now. Achimota has been closed down. KNUST, there are a lot of cases there. The next, so what at all do they want us to believe them of? What is it? So that honesty is missing clearly. It's missing. They'll tell you, oh, we've taken delivery of PPIs. Now, when you go to the various health facilities, they will tell you you don't have PPE. So, what are we supposed to believe?
Mr. AKANDOH, I want to ask you one last, a very quick question, and I'll be glad if you give me a very quick answer as well, a brief one. We are back to the 2-hour ceremonial functions like funerals and weddings and all that. Wouldn't this go a long way to curtail the spread of the COVID-19 virus?
Then we are back to what?
The 2-hour ceremonial functions like the funerals and the weddings and what have you.
Well, they are very important occasions that we cannot do without, but it is not the organization of funerals doesn't contribute to the fight against the virus. If anything at all, they aid in the spreading. But what probably you mean to say is that restricting the hours of organizing or the hours of such events may help to minimize the spread of the virus. That I agree with you. But what is important is that we must vaccinate the people. But even if you meet a person for 1 minute and the person will spread the virus, it doesn't take 2 hours or 5 hours to spread the virus. So let's vaccinate, let's test. Once we vaccinate, and the virus is even spreading, the effect minimizes. That's what is important.
All right, so thank you for your time last year on NEWSBEAT. We are grateful.
I'm also grateful.
KWABENA MINTAH AKANDOH is a ranking member of Parliament's Health Committee who was here, joined us on phone to analyze the President's 26th statement or update on COVID-19 and what government is doing to make sure that the spread of COVID-19 is curtailed. Let's to focus on COVID-19, and some Ghanaians have attributed the rise in COVID-19 cases to leaders' failure to enforce and adhere to the protocols. They have therefore called for individuals to take charge for their own safety. They have been speaking to my colleague Alberta Bisiu.
We, the ordinary people who don't understand, our leaders, they are not telling us the truth about the COVID. For example, Sir John funeral, we all saw what happened in the funeral. Recently, LWAC, they said they are doing soldiers enlistment or whatever. We all see what happened for them. So if our leaders, they are telling us the truth, then we too will take it serious.
We have to be exercise patient to him because the pressure is too much. You see, it's not about him, it's about the whole nation. You see, so what to me, we shouldn't rush because he has done his best. To me, it's about us, we Ghanaians. We have to change our mindset because if you got the COVID, President is not going to do anything for you. You are going to suffer. So protect yourself and do the right thing.
I believe we should start from the top because when you go to gatherings, you see our leaders. Most of our leaders don't care. Like they don't like using the mask. So I believe it should start from the top and then we'll follow.
The president was there. He went to funerals and there were people who were crowded over there.
And those are some views from session of the Ghanaian populace and what we are doing to curtail the COVID-19 spread. NEWSBEAT is live on Metro TV, live on DSTV channel 277. We'll be back from the break with other stories.
I says AC, Tresse, it will gold-plated things. Yeah, the copper pipes, Papa Binaye. Gasia, and for how Biam Rodas and Ibia, and a goom. And yet the day, Tansu of 4-in-1 filter system. 80 from a free mubano. Aye, Croji. AC, yeah, the horsepower netto. I sense Cassa a 2.5, a 2.5. Kululu Pianim. Yet, the Abapiamo, a high sense AC super promo. Date near 26 July, Akobim 8 August 2021. Upe Asia F. Na Eche, na Chile, na power. Aye, high sense AC. Comfort to Yemi. 26 July, Akobim 8 August. Madam High Sense, Matiti Suse, who? 5 years warranty. Adasutia, High Sense and Kwane to me as High Sense, everyday prices for everyday people.
In Ghana and in Africa, there is only one place to look to get that luxurious design and decor for your offices and homes. Visit Jamila Home. We give you the climax of luxury wherever you find yourself. Presidential and executive office furniture, living room sets, dining set, stunning mirrors, adorable wallpapers, lovely king and queen size beds, valuable antiques and antique goods, beautiful chandeliers and more. Into the bargain, we provide caring customer service, prompt delivery service, skilled and artistic full house design and decor services, and free decor ideas for your space. Our products and service is unparalleled, boasting of top-tier clients all over the globe. Jamila Home, home of first-class quality furniture, beautiful chandeliers, and antiques.
Thanks for staying with us. And now, the Greater Accra Regional Security Coordinating Council, led by the Regional Minister Henry Korte, embarks on a decongestion exercise in the Ayawaso Central Municipality. Our colleague Shadrach Odame Ejare joins us via Zoom with details of what is happening there currently. Hello Shadrach, how far has the exercise been and what can it report? Shadrach, how far? Can you hear me? Unmute your sound and let's have a conversation now. I can't hear you here in the studio, Shadrach. Okay, we are going to have Shadrach fix the sound problems there and get back to us with the details of what is happening there at Ayawaso Central as the Greater Accra Minister Henry Korte, together with other authorities, are embarking on a decongestion exercise here in Accra. Let me go back on the line and see if Shadrach Odame Ejare is now ready with the details. Shadrach Odame Ejare. Okay, we'll go back to him soon. But away from that for now, a professor of history from the United States of America with Ghanaian heritage, Professor Rahel Engman, has begun an archaeological excavation of the Christianborg Castle in Osu, Accra, as part of a plan to create a thorough and more objective narrative of Ghanaian history. The project is funded by the French Embassy. There's more in this report.
I had always grown up as a child, my surname is Engman, knowing that the first Engman was Danish and that he came to the coast. He was in fact a governor, and he was a governor during the height of the Danish transatlantic slave trade. Carl Gustav Engman married Ashokai. Ashokai was the daughter of one of the chiefs. So what I've done with this particular kind of project that I'm calling auto-archaeology, because it's archaeological, but it also draws upon autobiography. We have approximately 180,000 artifacts, and as you can see, we have the foundations of houses and walls. So if you can imagine, this, what you see behind me, started as a 1 meter by 1 meter test pit. So what we did was we surveyed the whole castle grounds. We found areas where there were clusters of artifacts on the surface. So we found a cluster of artifacts, so we said, okay, this is where we're going to dig. So we dug, and we dug, and we dug, and we've been doing this, not last year because of COVID, but every year we come and we dig and we continue. When we're not here, we cover. You can see we've got the walls of houses. We've got an area over here, which is a kitchen. And right now we're in the 18th century. We will keep digging until nothing else comes up. And so as you can see over here, we have what was a kitchen area to the 18th century. How do we know? Not because I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, because I don't, but I can identify a kitchen area. We have 3 stones. If you were to go to many areas in Ghana today, you would see cooking pots, right, with 3 stones with a pot on top. We found the charcoal. So we took the charcoal to be dated. So we know the charcoal dates back to the 18th century. And we're trying to do a revisionist history. Because if we were to write a history of Ghana or the Ga people based on Danish or any other European colonial account, as you can imagine, it would be quite biased. So what we do is we still have those records, but we put it together with what we're finding in the ground. That's how we believe.
Now, water, healthcare, and public toilet are unavoidable options for health and sanitation in many low-income towns and cities of developing countries like Ghana. However, towns and communities like Senchi and Logo in the WASSA East District of the Western region cannot boast of a public toilet or potable water. There is more in the following report filed by Shadrach Odame Ejare.
The WASSA East constituency and district, according to the 2021 Population and Housing Census, has a population of 81,073, accounting for about 3.4% of the Western region's population. The WASSA East constituency has communities like Sachi, Donko, Ekutuase, and Drenase. Members in communities in the WASSA East constituency are predominantly farmers, with majority involved in the local production of what is seemingly a chewing sponge or brush known in Akan as sari. Residents bemoaned how the lack of social amenities like a health center, toilet facilities and potable water is making life unbearable. Anyone toilet back on now. Nature said no crying here. I buy a
Debbie, I bind the American. Only Yankasa, you will claim nine. On Saturday, no cry, make a nuclear, see, and I say, into pay fly a question, and can't come on the air. Just say, and you're not busy in our say, penny clamp on us, one should be able to me. You may be a new cream, chronic in your cream. So be a rat, to say I didn't to motor so quite to be and son, Torret to cross up the cafe and said in me, Torret, Papa Bia, in Suso, Bacopa never, Nimbonus autumn, oh, mana. Watu oko baby amma ya yenyin sun
manga say I pharmacy kwadwuma ya na ye
afia adwuma
kwadwuma ya na ye ono pa ho a adwuma bia yin hom biem.
I decided to visit other farming communities in the constituency to assess the level of development. After about 5 minutes walk, it was obvious my journey won't be possible. Kujo and Hannah narrated how authorities have turned a blind eye to the collapsed bridge connecting Sanchi and communities like Ulugu and Ochimbesa. This, they say, has made it impossible for members of such communities to visit nearby towns to ply their trade. Reporting for Metro News from the WASSA East constituency in the Western region, Shadrach Odami Ejari.
And they have such deplorable state of very bad living condition there in the Western region here in Ghana. We are now crossing over to my colleague Shadrach Odami Ejari and the Greater Accra Regional Security Coordinating Council, led by the Regional Minister Henry Kwete, embarking on a decongestion exercise in the Yawasa Central Municipality. My colleague Shadrach Odami Ejari is with them and joins us on phone with details. Shadrach, what can you report?
This morning, as part of government Let's Make Accra Work agenda, we are back on the street with the regional minister, Honorable Henry Kwete, to check one constituency that has been overcrowded, the Ayawaso Central constituency, which is very own constituency. So this morning we started from the Malamata Circuit at the market here, and then the drains are very close, and then the Honorable Henry Kwete is ensuring that they distill all drains and then decongest the market, especially with the crowded places here at the Malamata market. He's also called on the Municipal Chief Executive Mohammed Quick and the Municipal Environmental Health Officer with the Municipal Coordinator Eugenia here to find out why certain things are not in their right places, or the environment here around the Ayawaso Central constituency is involved in skills, and then most places here are so. So in a short, you can see the Honorable Minister with some officials from his constituency trying to get most of the children out here.
Let's talk again, because
who has also asked
all right, Shadrach, I would want you to position yourself well and let's have a conversation. I'm struggling to hear what you're saying from where you are. There's a bit of noise in there, but we'll come back to you as and when it is fixed. Away from that for now, a new council has been sworn into office to steer the affairs of the University of Ghana for the few years. The new council has vast experience in various fields to help man the activities of the university successfully. The council was inaugurated on the 26th of July by the Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum. Now, the council is to be chaired by Justice Sophie A.B. Akufu as chair of the council. Justice Sophie Akufu is a former Chief Justice of Ghana. She has been a judge in the Supreme Court of Ghana since 1995. The swearing-in event took place at the premises of the Ministry of Education in Accra. We are still live here on NEWSBEAT. We'll be back from the break with more.
The world has seen a lot of evolution in recent times. Global network facilitated by trade continues to grow stronger and forge nations closer together.
On International Trade Focus, we'll share with you the current industry, tech and commercial avenues turning the world's trade wheel. This is your gateway to international business connections and trading events. Get the inside views, vital information, trends and analysis on emerging trade giants in Ghana and beyond. International Trade Focus, the global television trade showcase, transcending barriers in creativity and innovation. Join me, Anna Spiel, as I give you a whole menu of international trade activities. International Trade Focus, your timely business hub. International Trade Focus is brought to you by GO, ADB, Pediatric Valley Resorts and Public Elegance.
Are you tired as a consumer in Ghana when it comes to issues that confront you as a consumer? Worry no more. Kofi Capito, I'm here to give you the information, all that you need to make sure that your right is protected as a consumer. We have too many laws and agencies that should protect the right of the consumer. I'm here to give you the information that will help and assist you to get goods and services delivered to you without any worries. Watch the Capito Show on Metro TV.
Welcome back, and Kenneth Jesse stand by with the latest in the world of business. Good afternoon, Kenneth.
Good afternoon, Brian. Well, coming up in business, Ghana's debt to GDP ratio has risen to 76.6%. Details next. Now, Ghana's total public debt stock has increased by almost 30 billion in April and May to 332.4 billion Ghana cedis, accounting to 76.6% of GDP, according to data from the Bank of Ghana.
This is the highest recorded so far in the past year, slightly higher than the debt to GDP ratio of 76.1% recorded at the end of 2020, according to data from the Central Bank. The external debt component as of the end of May 2021 made up 37.2% of the total value of the economy, which is projected to be about 434 billion Ghana cedis for 2021. Ghana's domestic debt also rose by about 7 billion Ghana cedis, bringing total domestic debt to 170.8 billion Ghana cedis at the end of May this year, from the 163.6 billion Ghana cedis recorded at the end of March this year. The domestic component of the total public debt contains the financial sector resolution bond, which was 15.2 billion Ghana cedis at the end of May 2021.
Now let's go on to the phone lines and speak with Emmanuel DARKWAH. He's an economic analyst. Good afternoon and welcome to NEWSBEAT. So Ghana's debt stock to GDP has now risen to 76.6%. What does this mean for the economy?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. Public debt is one of the macroeconomic indicators that we use to measure the health of the economy. And the big question you have to ask yourself is, why do countries borrow? Countries do borrow because the expenditure is not meeting the required revenue that they have raised. That is why they keep on accumulating. Ghana's debt stock has been increasing basically because of the borrowings we have been borrowing from the capital market, from the domestic and the external sources. And so what it means is that comparing it to our GDP ratio, which is about 76%, in ordinarily, I mean, according to some international organizations, if your debt to GDP ratio as a middle income country is about 70%, there is cause for alarm, because it means that you spend a lot of your revenue amortizing your debt or paying your debt, which is not good. As I speak to you now, in the 2021 budget, government has projected to spend about 35 billion Ghana cedis to amortize debt, which is even higher than the 30 billion earmarked to pay government employees. So it is not too good, but the big question is, how are we going to amortize these debts when they arrive?
So as a country, should we be worried about the rising public debt stock?
The worry comes in when you are raising the debt and you're also using it on what we call recurrent expenditure. Debt in itself might not be wrong or might not be bad for the economy, but what are you using the debt for? Are you using it for recurrent expenditure? You want to use it to pay interest, you want to use it to pay your employees or any other recurrent expenditure item, as compared to capital expenditure. So if we are going for these loans, and you are using it for investment into into infrastructure or into things that will inure to the benefit of the economy in the long term, then there's no problem. But as I speak to you now, we are borrowing largely because we are not raising a lot of revenue, and it is a wake-up call for managers of the economy to look at ways that we can raise a lot of revenue internally and domestically, so that we don't go onto the market to borrow. Once you borrow domestically, you are competing with the private sector. Once you borrow internationally, the risk is that when your currency depreciates as against the major trading currencies, it means that the cost of your debt is going to be high. So in any way, whether domestic or external, there are risks to it. But the big question, or the big answer we have to, the question that we have to find answers to is, how do we raise internal revenue so that we don't borrow as much as a country?
A big question indeed. So grateful for your time on NEWSBEAT today. We have been speaking with Emmanuel DARKWAH. He's an economic analyst. Let's move on to other stories. Ahead of the mid-year budget review by the finance minister on Thursday, the opposition National Democratic Congress is holding a policy dialogue on the economy at the auditorium of the University for Professional Studies in Accra. My colleague Winston is standing by to give us more.
Hello, Ken.
Yeah, Winston, what can you report to us now?
All right. Currently, I am at the University of Professional Studies auditorium where the dialogue is ongoing. Speaking at the moment is the ranking member in the Finance Committee, Honorable Ato Forson, who is at the moment profiling Ghana's debt stock. He's of the view that the debt stock of this current government, that is Akufo-Addo-led government, has increased by 50% in the 4 years governance system that he's been operating in. And he believes that this is unacceptable. And they are at the moment dialoguing and speaking on the case where the GDP of Ghana has basically increased. The GDP in case compared to Ghana's debt stock is not something that can uphold our revenue collection. And one of the key points that he made is that the COVID-19 cannot be attributed to be the cause of Ghana's woes. And he said the challenge we have as a country began.
Now, ahead of the mid-year review budget by the finance minister, Ghana's total debt stock has increased by almost 30 billion in April and May to 332.4 billion, accounting to 76% of GDP, according to data from the Bank of Ghana. My colleague Winston on the line. Let's take a look at how the city is performing against other major trading currencies and also the prices of the commodity world market. The Ghana cedi has so far this year lost a paltry of 0.6% to the US dollar, data from the Bank of Ghana has indicated.
The cedi has had impressive runs since the beginning of the year until now, but the repatriation of dividends by some multinationals beginning June has put some pressure on the local currency. This has led to an increase in demand for the forex, though the central bank has regularly, through the forex forward auction, provided dollars to the market to slow down any depreciation. According to the Bank of Ghana, the cedi recorded 0.5% gain in April 2021, same as March 2021, and 0.2% appreciation in May 2021. In June 2021, it registered no change in value to the US dollar but lost 0.6% in value to the world's most traded currency.
Now, Internet. Ghana has the cheapest mobile pricing for mobile data in West Africa. A report on world mobile Internet data pricing has revealed.
The report, conducted by UK's internet expert cable.co.uk, compared the cost of 1 gigabyte of mobile data across 6,148 mobile data plans in 230 countries. The report ranks Ghana's internet pricing as the cheapest in West Africa and one of the cheapest in the world, at an average price for 1 gigabyte mobile data at $0.66. On the African continent, Ghana's mobile internet data is ranked the fourth cheapest behind Sudan, Algeria and Somalia. Gambia's mobile internet data is the most expensive, with the average pricing for 1 gigabyte data at $5.86, while Equatorial Guinea has the most expensive mobile internet data pricing in Africa, with an average of $49.67 for 1 gigabyte of mobile data.
Now, the program's coordinator at the UNDP Ghana, Kingsley Bakwe, is calling on the government to provide tax exemptions for those engaged in the waste management businesses across the country. He was speaking at a 3-day integrated Waste Fair 2021, which brought together various stakeholders to converge at the conference center in Accra.
The 3-day event, Ghana Integrated Waste Management Fair 2021, brought together various stakeholders to the conference center in Accra. It was organized to provide an opportunity to connect the different strands of waste management to enable cross-fertilization of solutions, partnership and resource support for businesses. Omar Seidu, a social statistician with the Ghana Statistical Service, said the key challenge of the service was access to funding for research purposes.
For us to be able to monitor the SDGs, we will need to explore the use of non-traditional data sources. And so we, like the marine litter one I told you, we don't have funding yet, but we are working on it. And that has been and that is not the only thing. As I said, over 30 different projects at different levels of maturity. Some of them have funding, others don't. But you know, funding is very important. But when the government funding is not coming, you look elsewhere.
Anthony Asante Ado is the programs manager of Play Soccer Ghana, who use sachet rubbers to make goalposts.
In our booth, we have a display of our goalpost nets made out of sachet rubbers, which we collect from the households, schools, and the communities. I don't even want to use the word waste anymore. I prefer saying item materials in transition, because they are used for, it will be useful to somebody at a particular stage, and a different stage to someone might tell me to be useless, but it will still be useful to another person.
Ghana's biggest waste management firm was also there to showcase at the fair.
Now, my colleague Eugenia Akofa Kume is standing by to speak with the Director General of State Interest and Governance Authority. Let's cross over.
And you know, of course, the overseeing authority is the SIGA, that's the State Interest and Governance Authority, an institution that came into being during the first tenure of President Akufo-Addo. And I have been joined by the Director General of SIGA in the person of Honorable Stephen Asamoah Boateng, aka Asabi. Sir, welcome to Metro TV.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. So tell us, How significant is this signing contract today, given that, well, we have seen we've heard a lot of conversation about improving performance in public sector, state enterprise, yet really nothing really comes out of it?
Well, yes, in the past nothing had come out of it. We're all a bit worried that we put some resources of the state into establishing these businesses, and the attitude of some of them, both employees and management and even the board, was not coming up to scratch. So that's why SIGA was born. I saw the transition from State Enterprise Commission now to SIGA. And now the key significant change is the shareholding responsibility that now SIGA holds. So if you're the shareholder, then I have a lot of responsibility and a lot of things that you know if you don't do it, I can apply, which is the sanctions. And without even applying it fully now, what I've done is do the relationship building with the CEOs, the board members, and you show them respect, you show them that you are able to understand what you're doing, then they respond. So today is significant because in the midst of COVID, last year, if you remember, we were doing a lot of work, and even the audited accounts that were in arrears were covered up to 2016. But whilst they were doing it, then COVID came in, so we had them to wait a little bit and concentrate on 2018, 2019, which we needed quickly. So the arrears are still there. And so with the COVID, we have then developed the smart work environment so that the IT or technology would help us a lot without person-to-person contact. And we've created a portal where they can load their documents and we can then work on it. So there's a lot that has happened. In the middle of the COVID, we still managed to get this thing done. Now it is the beginning of the work. The signing is just the beginning. Now is the monitoring. Our job as SIGA is to go out there, check that what they said they're going to do on the KPIs are working or they are abiding by it. If they don't, what are the sanctions that we apply? And then we do the evaluation as to what have we seen improvement. The improvement we're expecting is a profitability. They must make profit. And this year I'm assured that even VRA, if nothing happens, better my fingers crossed, they should be declaring profit. Ghana Gas, Gridco. The other one is, which one is that? Bosch. So I'm encouraged that, especially the energy sector. And once they begin to perform, the economy begins to move.
Now, earlier, the finance minister talked about...
That was my colleague Eugenia Akufa-Kume speaking with the State Interest and Governance Authority Director General Stephen Asamoah-Boateng. We'll bring you details of that story more on Newsnight. But now, Phil John Korte is standing by with the latest in sports. Phil.
Well, thank you very much, Ken. Agnes will be taking you straight to Japan and find out the latest at the Olympic Games. Welcome back. Let's start with good news for Ghana because the captain of Ghana's boxing team, the Black Bomber Suleiman Tete, has qualified for the next stage of the boxing competition after defeating Mateo Dilia Rodriguez in the split decision this morning in Tokyo. 3 out of the 5 judges called the fight for the Ghanaian, whilst his opponent from Dominican Republic had 2 judges in favor of them. After a slow start to the fight, Suleimana won the last 2 bouts to progress to the next stage of the competition. So good news for Ghana. Suleimana Tete qualified for the next stage of the boxing competition at the ongoing Japan Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. We're still talking about boxing, but this time local boxing. The immediate past president of the Ghana Boxing Authority, Peter Raymond Zwenis, has called on the new leadership of the Ghana Boxing Authority to channel more resources into amateur boxing.
It's always the case because without good amateur boxers, you can't get good professionals. The amateur serves as the breeding ground and it feeds professional boxing with its future world champions. Of course, occasionally you have somebody who's never campaigned as an amateur, but who's a good professional. DK Poison as an example. But 99% of them pass through the amateur ranks, and there's a lot to learn when you're amateur, so that when you are accomplished and you come into the professional, it makes a lot of difference.
Peter Zwenis is the immediate past president of the Ghana Boxing Federation, calling on the new leadership to channel resources into amateur boxing. Let's go back to the Japanese capital, Tokyo, where world number 1 Ashley Bartley is out of the Olympic Games.
Barty slumped 6-4, 6-3 to the Spaniard on Tokyo's Blue Olympic courts in a one-sided contest during which the freshly crowned Wimbledon champion never settled. The Australians got their moment in the last of the morning races when the Dolphins beat their own world record of 3 minutes 29 seconds in the 4x100 meters women's freestyle relay, with Canada taking silver and the United States taking bronze. All 12 athletes for the women's 4x100 freestyle relay medal ceremony were maskless, hugging teammates and smiling to photographers, leading to the International Olympic Committee saying masks were a must to have. Japan bagged skateboarding's first ever gold medal when Yuto Horigome, who grew up in the Tokyo ward where the event is being held, took gold at the debut of a sport once seen as a symbol of counterculture. Kelvin Hoefler of Brazil won silver in the men's street skating competition, while Jagger Eaton of the United States clinched the bronze. In a nail-biting final, Horigome stumbled through the 2 initial runs but recovered his signature cool in landing 4 of the 5 final tricks, earning 9.50 in the second to last run. With temperatures rising above 30 degrees Celsius in Tokyo, skateboarders were sweating at their historic Olympic debut, part of organizers' attempt to broaden the appeal of the world's largest sporting event.
Those were highlights of the various disciplines from Tokyo 2020. That's it for sports. My name is Phil John Quarty. Harriet is standing by for the latest in showbiz.
For the latest in showbiz. Thank you, Johnny, for that latest update in sports. There's more after this. Multiple award-winning Ghanaian gospel artist Joe Mettle has released his 6th studio album, The Experience. According to him, a lot of hard work went into making of the album, and he prays it becomes a blessing to all. The Experience album listening happened over the weekend, and some patrons have asserted the album is nothing short of perfection. In an interview, Joe Mettle expressed that he is positive that his 13-track masterpiece will be nothing but blessings to many. I think the whole pandemic was part of the reasons we had to wait that long to bring out an album. But little did I know that during this pandemic, God was preparing something inside of me. And based on that experience I had with him is what I decided to share with the people of God today. A lot of hard work went into the making of the album, and I pray it becomes a blessing to all. The whole point is this: each song on the album has a whole different experience it brings you. Some bring you encouragement, some draw you into the spirit, others draw you into the mood of rejoicing and celebration, and so the experiences differ, he added. Joe Mettle has over the years served fans and gospel lovers with great albums such as Wind of Revival, God of Miracle, The Encounter, Sound of Praise and Gratitude. Joseph Oscar Niyama Mettle, as he is known in real life, is the first gospel musician to win the VGMA Artist of the Year award in his genre in 2017. Big Brother NAIJA Season 6 has officially begun, and this year's season is tagged Shine Your Eye.
Keep your eyes on the prize, eyes on the prize, eyes on the dream, eyes on the dream.
The 6th season of Africa's biggest reality television show, Big Brother NAIJA, premiered on Saturday, 24th July 2021, with 22 contestants to compete for this year. The unveiling of housemates was announced by the host of the show, Ebuka Obiochendu, during the opening ceremony of the Big Brother NAIJA Season 6. The reality show follows the lives of housemates interacting and competing with each other to win the grand prize of 90 million naira worth of prizes. Male contestants for this year include Poma, Saga, Yusuf, Perry, White Money, Ni Yerings, J. Paul, Emmanuel, Sami, and Cross. The female contestants are Angel, Peace, Jackie B, Tega, Irene, Rose, Maria, Beatrice, Princess, Sasuke, and Nini. The organizers of Big Brother NAIJA Season 6 have said that the 90 million Naira grand prize for the reality show is the highest ever in the history of the program. They also note that the reality show will be streaming in the United Kingdom for the first time ever.
So what you gonna do? So what you gonna do?
Readjust your vision for an all-new season of Big.
Well, that's it for entertainment news on Newsbeat. My name is Harriet Addy. Over to Bright for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Harriet Addy. Coming up next is a look on international front. Kidnappers who raided a boarding school in northern Nigeria earlier this month released 28 children on Sunday, July 25, but another 81 remain in captivity.
Sunday, they don't want it. That is how little they are. Being reunited.
I'm very, very happy. Very, very happy. Very, very. I never believed I would see her alive. I'm very, very happy.
The joy is too much. I cannot even measure the type of the joy. God has done it. We say if our God would worship, we will see our beginning, and we have seen him. As we go bring this one, we go bring the rest. It's my son, is not here. My boy is
You know that a few came before. Altogether now, we have received 34 out of the 121. We are still expecting 87 to come back who have not come back yet. Yes, we call on all the people that knew about security apparatus and to assist us with information. How could we reach these people? What can we do?
It's okay, my son. Okay, you can go that way. Let the mother. I want the mother.
That's it for the news here this afternoon. A quick look at our top stories. Our third wave of COVID-19 enters full swing across Ghana. President Akufo-Addo and health professionals admonish Ghanaians to take strong personal responsibility in protecting themselves against the deadly virus. Ahead of the media budget review by the Finance Minister on Thursday, the opposition National Democratic Congress (NDC) holds a